Hi everyone, it's me, Beatically Sunflower. So I thought I'd hop on today and do a video response to a video that was originally created by Sylvia. Her channel is called the Fair Light Tarot. The name of the tag is called Top 10 Mass Market Decks for Spring. I think I've got about 12 decks that I'm going to show you because two of the decks I use with the matching Oracle and lenormand decks, but I count them as one deck, so I've kind of cheated a bit. This is my kind of like mini me Blythe doll, but I don't have blonde hair, but you know, it's short like this and afro. Her name is called Sunshine, and this is a doll that I tend to spend more time with in the spring and summer months. I've just dressed her in this nice kind of outfit. The coat's not so thick because it's kind of like spring now, so it's kind of, well, we're coming into spring, I'd say, and the weather's a bit warmer, so you don't need so much thick coats. So say hello, Sunshine. Okay, so let's crack on with my decks. The first deck that I want to show you is called Tarot Affirmations for Positive Growth and Change. 78 oversized cards and companion booklet. And this is by US Games. Do you know what? I've had this deck for such a long time. I'm not even sure whether this deck is still in print. So I'm sorry if it is not in print, but it makes a really good spring deck because of the colour palette. So as I said, it comes with a little white book, which you don't really need because there's a lot of writing on the cards. But the little white book just goes into what tarot is, how to use tarot, what makes tarot spreads powerful, what can tarot offer us, how to use this deck, daily use of tarot affirmations, weekly or monthly use of tarot affirmations, and it's got the 3-card spread and I think the Celtic cross, and then it just gives you some other reference books with regards to tarot. So I'll take out a few of these cards to show you. To me, the cards on the bottom left-hand side look like they're from the Radiant Weight Tarot deck. The backs of the cards remind me of the Judgment card. You know, nice pastel spring colours. And it's just a gorgeous deck. So let me read you out what the Magician says, for example. So it's got the card down the bottom and it says, I am dynamic, changing, creation. I play freely with my thoughts, feelings, inspiration, and sensations. I am creative, focused, attention, committed to acting on my ideas and inspirations. I am open to life's powerful energy. I allow it to flow freely through me. I am versatile and flexible. I work with the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual materials available to me in whatever place I happen to be. I allow others to see my creative experiments. I communicate my changing thoughts, feelings, ideas, and perceptions. So it kind of gives you more of the upright meanings, but I just think they're wonderful to work with in the springtime. They've got like a nice pastel blue colour to them, and to me I just get a spring kind of vibe. And it's also kind of, to me, like very beginner friendly as well. And if you like poetry or you're like me and you learn better in rhyme, it's the perfect beginner's deck. But as I said earlier, I'm not sure whether this deck is still in print because it's been a while since I bought it. Tarot Affirmations. This next deck is called the Lorna Soul Tarot by Liminal 11. I call this deck Lorna. I've got 2 copies of this deck. I've got the first edition that I got from Liminal 11 and this one I got from Amazon. What I like about this deck is that if you read reversals like me, you can tell what way the card is. So if the blue side is facing up, that tends to be reversed. And if the yellow side is facing up, that means that the card is upright. It comes with a little hardback book, which I like. I won't take it out, but it's in there and it's colour illustrated. The colour palette on this deck to me is very kind of spring-like. It's very kind of green and earthy brown And I kind of associate those colours with spring. It's Rider-Waite inspired, and it's just a gorgeous deck to work with. I've enjoyed working with Lorna quite a bit. My first edition is really well used because I use it a lot, but this is my backup copy. I was a bit ashamed to show you my first edition, which is not really mass market, I guess. So that's another reason why I showed you this copy, because this is the one I got from Amazon and not directly from Liminal 11, but it is a mass market deck. So this is the Lorna Soul Tarot, but I call her Lorna. The next deck is called the Pastoral Tarot. It's like a pull-out tarot deck. Or the box is a pull-out box, I should say, like a drawer. I had it in back to front because it should come out that way. It's got nice kind of like spring colours. It's horizontal. It's got a beautiful guidebook. The guidebook has got like black and white images, which I don't really mind because the cards are in colour. I use this bag here if I take the cards out and about with me, which I might do for the spring when I'm using it. I love the fact that it's got a lift out ribbon to pull the cards out with. Should have gone that way. And the cards are horizontal. They're bigger than a regular RWS card, and they really bring you into like spring to me, you know. This looks like a nice country feel of a country lane going down. I do have relatives in the countryside that I used to visit as a child, but I'm more of a London girl now. But it just reminds me of the country. It feels peaceful and spring-like. It's the perfect deck for me to use in the spring season, and it's published by US Games, so it's a mass market deck. I think it's one of their more expensive mass market decks in terms of pricing. I got this when it was first published, and it was a little bit more higher than what I would usually pay for a US Games deck at the time. US Game decks to me have gone up in price anyway, but they're a lot more better quality. I would say that even though this is a mass market deck, to me it's got like an indie quality to it, and I absolutely love this deck, and I'm looking forward to working with it again this spring. So this is called the Pastoral Tarot, and it's a US Games published deck. So this is the Dreamway Tarot and the Dreamway Lenormand. This is one of the decks that I said that I work with as a pair, and I've said it's one deck, but it's really two, but I always use them together when I'm reading. This is a very quirky deck. And when I bought it, it was even more quirkier because there wasn't much quirky decks on the market when I got this deck. But there's since been more quirky decks, but I got a soft spot for this deck. To me, they've got very kind of like spring-like colour palettes. Different backs, but still very spring. I just love it. It's Rider-Waite inspired, the tarot deck, and the Lenormand deck is just a very clear reader Lenormand. It's not fussy, you know, it's straight to the point, and they work really well together. I tend to use the tarot cards mostly, and then if I need any clarity, I will do a Lenormand spread. Sometimes a 3-card spread, or if the person wants a lot of clarity, I do a 9-card spread afterwards using this deck, and they work well together. They, to me, give quite predictive reading, but that's just my own personal opinion. Very spring-like. Lots of greens, browns, and kind of earthy colours. Oops, this is back to front in the cards, and I just love them. So this is the Dreamway Tarot and the Dreamway Lenormand cards. So this next deck is also a US Games deck. I bought the separate guidebook to go with it because it's got more details on the plants and their properties. This is called the Herbal Tarot. It's Rider-Waite inspired. It does come with a little white book, but the guidebook is more in depth. It's got a plant for each archetype. The backs are kind of herby, and to me the color palette is just so spring. I do tend to associate herbs and trees and plants with spring, So to me, this is a perfect spring deck. I'm going to show you the guidebook and show you why I think that they work well together. So let's look at the Justice card. It's got here plantain. So this is plantain leaf, but you can see the Rider-Waite spurks. You know, it's got the scales. She's got the globe in her hand to try and do a fair judgment. She's got the sword there. Let me look at the meaning. So card 11. Okay, let's move these out of the way. Plantain, genius, plant tags. So it gives you like the astrological kind of thing. So it says Libra, which is associated with justice. Justice emerges out of the dense forest of darkness and confusion, holding the crystal oil of light in one hand and the scales of balance in the other. The display sword symbolizes the unqualified search for truth. Her outer cape of red represents strength and power, and the inner groan of pink expresses her compassion. Justice, ruled by Libra, represents our internal need for equilibrium. She is the faithful divine mother preserving us and maintaining our health. Physically, emotionally, and spiritually, she protects those things which are important to us. And with her sword, she carves off what is useless and worn out. Justice is the appreciation and understanding of the laws of nature. When we are in harmony with these laws are protected in all ways. When we are in disharmony, pain and personal discomfort arise. Justice can teach us how, through work and action, we can cultivate health for body, mind, spirit by being discriminating in the choices we make for ourselves. She wants to take us towards our innermost joy. And then it talks about the spiritual properties of plantain. Just as plantain can remove irritations such as splinters from the body, spiritually it can help one to identify and clear out inner sources of irritation. Congested thoughts or fixed ways will be loosened up and greater clarity will be created. Through this type of adjustment and rebalancing, a new life can be created. And when it talks about the medicinal properties, the dose preparations and keyword, so it's got here, need for better inner balance, time for work and action, balancing health habits, need to discriminate as to what is best for self, need to create one's own joy, taking responsibility for one's actions and relationships, looking at another side of an issue, looking at the pros and cons, need to cut away unnecessary baggage. And then affirmation, by creating greater balance within, I create more joy for my life. So it's got a lot of information in the separate guidebook with a little right book, which just gives you an upright and reverse meaning and a bit about the plant. And the colour palette to me makes it a perfect spring deck. And again, with all the herbs and stuff as well, it's just perfect to use in the spring. The next two tarot decks, again, I use as a pair. It's called the Familiar Field Oracle and the Field Tarot, both by Elizabeth Fonfana. They both come with a beautiful kind of little guidebook that's kind of nicely written and gives clear explanations. Beautiful write-up. To me, the colour palette is very spring-like. To me, the field deck is a bit pippish, but they have keywords on there. But I think the colours go well together, and the backs are different shades of green. So the Oracle has like a dark emerald green, and the Tarot's got like a mint green, which again I associate with spring. And it's just a nice, simplistic tarot deck and oracle with really nice keywords, and it's just a pleasant deck to use during the spring season. Queen of Swords, Independence, the Wolf, Wildness, Leadership, Kingship. It's just good. And what I tend to do is mainly use the tarot deck, and then I use the oracle deck to round off. I also use the oracle deck as well sometimes, just to do one day pulls, or I might do one card each and put them both on a double stand for the day or the week, depending on what mood I'm feeling. But it's just a nice simple deck with simple keywords and a nice kind of spring-like tarot palette. So these work really well together. So that's the Field Tarot and the Field Familiar Oracle deck. So my next deck is called the Bee Tarot by Christopher Hughes. This is a Llewellyn deck. I actually got this for Christmas from my partner. It comes with a nice thick guidebook, which Llewellyn decks tend to do if you buy the box sets. This is 265 pages with colour illustrations. The cards I keep in a separate drawstring bag with a bee on it, embroidered, and these remind me of like honey. I love this deck. It reminds me of my granddaughter as well, because her name is called Honey. One of the twins is called Honey. So it's got nice kind of like spring-like colours. I often tend to associate bees with spring because that's when I see them the most, buzzing around. I love the backs of the cards. You know, it's reversible with 2 bees and a honeycomb. It's just a nice deck. I did use this deck when I got it for the last week in December and for January as well, just to get myself acquainted for it. Done an interview spread and it said that we're going to work well together. I do tend to match it with a hexagon lenormand deck that I've got, which is also about bees, but that's not mass market, so I didn't put it in this video because it is an independent deck. It's just beautiful. I like pictures of bees, but I don't like the physical bees, you know, but I think they're beautiful to look at. I've got bee earrings, bee ornaments, but if I see a real bee, I run for my life. Strange, isn't it? So this is the Bee Tarot, and it's a Llewellyn deck, and I just think it's got nice spring-like aura, and the colour palette. Look at that beautiful sunflower, my favourite plant, and all the bees around it. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. The Bee Tarot. The next deck is called the Cantigee Oracle, an ecological, spiritual guide and creative prompt deck, written by Ray Diamond and Laura Zuzpan. I've only kind of looked for the cards and shuffled this deck. I haven't actually worked with it per se, but it's got beautiful spring colours, and I do intend to kind of read this book and work with the cards this spring. Look at the colour palette. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The backs are kind of like cobwebs, spiders. That's when you see them most in the spring. It's just nice. Looks like it's been hand painted. It's got beautiful keywords. I haven't read the book to see if it's a system. I might just use them as one card pulls, but I'm definitely going to be using this deck. And it's round. It's quite big. It's the same length as a RWS card, but a lot wider. The coiled snake. The scientist nest. It's just a really, really, really nice spring coloured deck, and it makes me happy just looking at it. The Cantigee Oracle. So this next deck is published by Herbal. It's called the Surrealist Tarot. I guess you could use this deck in the winter as well, because it's got dark blues in there as well, but I prefer to use it in the spring because to me it's got like a lot of greens and browns in the colour palette, which I do see as spring. You know, everyone sees colour differently, but this to me feels like a spring deck. But then I could also use it in the winter as well. But it's just a gorgeous deck. It's very earthy to me. Even though there's snow in that picture as well, it's got an earthy feel. Kind of quirky. Look at that, just absolutely gorgeous. It's like a tree bark. I got this on Amazon, and I wish that they had a guidebook to it, because I'd like to know just a bit more, and to me the little white book isn't enough. So if I can see a guidebook to this deck, I'll definitely buy it. But it's its own system as well. I wouldn't call this Rider-Waite inspired, to be quite honest. Look at the sun, it's like an egg yolk. And that's the Magician's Table to me. So it is its own system. Quirky, green, earthy and fun. And I'm looking forward to working with this deck in the spring. So this is the Surrealist Tarot, and it's published by Bell. And my final deck for the spring is called Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. I think Paulina Cassidy has changed her name now, and I'm not quite sure what her new name is, but it's a US Games deck. I've got quite a few of her decks, and to me they're very spring-like and herby. But look at the backs of that deck. Nice kind of spring brown. It's just quirky and whimsical, and the colour palette is just yummy gummy. I haven't used this deck for a while, I must confess, but this spring I do intend to use this deck. 6 of Wands, look at that. It's just gorgeous. Look at the trees and the roots, and it's just got a very spring-like vibe to me. 4 of Wands. Beautiful. Nice smooth matte finish. It just feels like butter when I'm taking them away, and they shuffle quite nice as well. This is like the old US Games cardstock, which I actually love. So this is a Joie de Vivre Tarot deck by Paulina Cassidy. So Sunshine and I would like to thank you so much for watching this video response. I would also like to thank Sylvia for devising this hashtag or video response. I've enjoyed sifting through my spring decks and selecting the ones to show to you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.